Hey guys, welcome back. So, here's the Baneblade, all built up. So here's the thing, I'm going to try and take as much out of this kit as possible. So, I built it up, but I did get some measurements beforehand, and it's actually not really even built. These aren't even glued on. And the cannon is obviously not melted in, because obviously I want to be able to turn it. But this is overall what we're looking at with the Baneblade. Now, you'll notice I didn't add the armor plating. That's because I'm not going to. I'm going to save that for when I make my own cardboard version. So we still have plenty of stuff on the sprues that we haven't really done anything with. We'll deal with those after. Here, give me a sec. Let me get that out of the way. But overall, if you just want to build the basic Baneblade, right? This is kind of it. You don't need to add the sponsons. You can. And I will be adding at least one set on my Baneblade here. I'm going to save the others to add more detail to my other cardboard Baneblade. But, either way, this is kind of what we're looking at, okay? Now, I did some measurements, and I've already got wheels set up for the Baneblade, okay? As you can see, oh, also this turret comes out at the front, anyway. This is how it works. I actually got rid of the gas can because you don't really need it on the cardboard one, and you only get one gas can replacement. Let me see. You only get one spare because that'll actually. No, you do get two, so that's fine. You can just add those to your if you buy the kit anyway. Otherwise, I guess I'll do a measurement thing. But so what I did was, this is the measurements for a wheel. It is 5 inches, all from this corner to this corner to this corner right here. That's 2 inches, but then it goes down by 1/4 an inch. Then you go from this the point where it goes 1/4 an inch to here is about 1/2 an inch, and this bit here, like from this point to this kind of little corner here, that's 1.5 inches tall. But from this corner down 2 inches, and over this way it's actually slightly longer than the top. It's 5.5 inches. Over here it goes up 2 inches, and then this corner is down 2 inches. And this, it kind of can meet here. You just cut it down a bit, just round the end. That's kind of it for the wheels. Then I did the bottom. I got 2 of these. I don't think I actually even need these, because you do get a massive spare chassis and a few other things. I'll show you in a second. But overall, it will be 7.5 inches the long way, 2 3/4 an inch the short way. And that'll roughly, sorry, I'm just trying to, I literally just finished building this, so some of this is still kind of curing. Roughly, that'll cover the entire body here. This here, this is like a solid, I think it was actually 1.5 inches. Let's see. It is a full inch. Sorry, I was just checking off camera. It is a full inch. You get a full inch, and you have your little. That'd be what, like about 1/8 an inch, like just the armor on the side, 1/8 an inch. Then you get an inch, 1/8 an inch, and then you have this thing. Other than that, you actually get this chunk that's supposed to go on the back of the Baneblade. I actually attached this and I took it off, which is why you see this melted bit here. But I was thinking, right, why attach it when I can just use this to add extra detail onto my other, when I make my cardboard one. So I just added, I don't know if I've used the right piece there, but I added a little as gun thing. And again, real quick, I don't actually follow the instructions for this. I roughly eyeballed it in most cases. Like, for instance, I actually read the instructions while doing the tracks. You do not need to listen to the instructions for most of it. It's like, oh, use 10, 11, whatever, 1 and 3, and all that works, so long as you have 5 of these wing things between, I think it's 5, between every skull. So, like, where is pencil? You get the skull, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skull, 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, they even messed up their own thing here. There's 4 in between that one. 2, 4, 5 again. 2, 4, 5. Yeah, they actually messed up their own thing. There's 4 slots in between there. There's not supposed to be. But either way, that's roughly how it is. Now, this is the only kit I've ever actually added the tracks onto the bottom. because it's the Baneblade, you're going to see them on the side. And even though you don't need them there, that's the one issue with the Baneblade. Total, I think, yeah, looking at what I've got, I think I've got maybe, here, this is all of the spare track you get. And you know what, I'm convinced this actually came off on the inside. I'm fairly sure. Yeah, this was right in there. Now you don't need this. This is the 11 piece. You don't really need to add it because it disappears in the shadows. So this isn't even spare. You just get this piece that's spare. That's kind of it. In armor, okay, you do get a lot with this kit because obviously you can build all of the variants, just like the Leman Russ. So I actually still have 2 auto guns. I've got this. I've got. Honestly, I don't know what 90% of this is. Most of this is for like the transport variant, right? You get plating, and this isn't with any decorations. I haven't added anything to this. This is just the basic Baneblade. You get some pilots there. Assuming you don't add any of the armor on the sides, you do have a few of these extra eagles. You get more spots for lights, and I do believe you get a few spare. Yeah, you get spare lights to cover this, so you get actually spare tracks for the front. You do get now. I don't think there's another spot for more smoke launchers. So you do technically get 2 spare sets of smoke launchers. I don't have the. I don't know where the instructions went. But yeah, you do get a set of spare smoke launchers, you get some spare bolters, you get a spare tracker too, actually, I believe, as well. I think these are supposed to be a decoration, kind of, just like, oh, the ladder I haven't added yet, I will be adding the ladder. I think there's a nameplate as well. Oh, and I also didn't add any of the pipes, so the back is extremely undetailed. We'll be getting to that in a second, I completely forgot. But for overall chassis, you roughly get, this is that front chunk that has the other cannons on it. You get a ton of extra spare plates to add detail to your cardboard variant if you buy this. Now if not, you can just add your own detail like with the Leman Russes with the wood. This is actually the first time I've made one of these videos without making the cardboard version alongside it. So I'm just going to build the cardboard version, show you how it looks, show you the measurements when it's all done. But yeah, that's kind of what you're looking at with the Baneblade. It's a giant tank. Let me see if I can pull this up a little bit, just to give you an idea of the size. So this is your... Actually, give me a sec. Alright, this is a fully official model, just so you know I'm not, like, it's not different sizes. This is the Baneblade, and this is the Leman Russ. Roughly takes, like, what? The same amount of footprint as roughly 3 Leman Russes merged together. Rogel Dorn-wise, official Rogel Dorn is probably, yeah, just under 2 Rogel Dorns roughly in footprint. But this is massive. Like this is a giant tank. I'll put these back. Alrighty, but yeah, so it's a big tank. We'll be shooting a video in a second. You won't notice the difference. It'll be a different video completely, but it'll be the one with the cardboard. I'm going to try and build one up now. So yeah, have a good day, guys. Hope you enjoyed the Baneblade. Hope you like seeing the massive tank we've got now. Yeah, please like and subscribe, and hope you enjoyed the video. Hey guys, welcome to part 1 of making the cardboard, kitbashed Baneblade. So this is what I did. So I found out roughly this measures equally. So here's the small issue. I do not know the measurements for these things. I just got these off of Michael's. But if you take one of these, let me find out. You can get these at Michael's, okay? If you take one of these, do 2 layers thick, it'll fill up that spot. That's 2 of them. Then you do 1 layer of the smaller tan stuff. That's another one, and that'll cover. Where to go? I had a tire tread here. Here, I'll pause this, be right back with the tire tread. Alrighty, I'm back. Oh, I dropped it immediately. As you can see, tank tread fits in there. It's the exact right size. Which, by the way, for measurement-wise, is about 1 inch, okay? So you need about 1 inch between your 2 side pieces. Now I'm obviously going to be building this with some spare Rogelborn pieces. Honestly, if you didn't want to though, just use hard cardboard, like the thicker stuff. Cardstock is what they call it. But yeah, you'll want, remember, this little bit with the notched front, that's the front of it. So that'll be going right there. Alrighty. This is, again, like my other hour-long video, which I thought was going to be shorter. This will be a bunch of clips of about a minute or two, all stitched together in a quick succession. And it'll be, you know, however long it is after that. But yeah, be back soon. Hey guys, welcome back. So, this is where we are at with the Kitbash Baneblade. We have the measures here, measurements here, and we've used the spare Baneblade bits to make the sides. Now, I have built most of, I'm pretty sure this is the Bane Sword or the Shadowsword chassis, and that's going to, because here's the thing, from here, as you can see, it's all kind of slowly starting to work together. But the measurements are going to be complicated, so I can try and measure them, but as a whole I'm just going to end up using the spare bits to make something like that. I'm probably going to force some of the spare plastic together to make it stick together in some way. But just going to give you the heads up on that. I'll try and give you measurements in a little bit. Hey guys, welcome back. This is how we're looking now. Everything's glued in largely. You know what, let me change the angle a bit and try and fix the lighting a little. There you go. So what we did was, like I said, we ended up building the Bane Sword or the Shadowsword, I'm not sure. But what I did was I took the spare plating and I put a chunk right here just to cover up the front and give that some details. I did hard cardboard just kind of to fit that out. I'm going to do hard cardboard blocking this up. And I did one of the transport options. I put it there to fill out that. I cut off the edge of it, and again, hard cardboard across. I'm going to do hard cardboard covering most of the wheel here because I don't actually have any spare tracking this time, so it's going to be like that. But yeah, other than that, this is largely how your Bane Sword will look kitbashed if you obviously use spare pieces. Now, for measurements, the body itself, you can just copy the body measurement here. 7 3/4 inch this way, 2 3/4 inch that way, right? You'll want the tank to be roughly 3 inches tall, give or take. Like just underneath 3 inches. Probably 2 3/4 of an inch. And at the front, you can do about maybe an inch up. Then you could go diagonally for like 3 inches, right, upwards. And then you've got the head there, which itself is 2.5 inches, give or take, just over 2.5 to 3, somewhere in there. Yeah, 2.5 to 3 or so inches if you're measuring down to this point. 2.5 to 3 inches forward to back, and about 3 3/4 an inch or so left to right. And that'll give you the rough size of the head of the tank. The sides, again, just to reiterate, about an inch. The tracks are about an inch wide. Here's the measurements again for this. 5 inches, 5.5 inches for the bottom bit. It's 2.5 inches tall, by the way, I'm not sure I mentioned that. 2 inches down here, like the diagonal corner. This is 2 inches, then you go 1/4 an inch down, and then you go another 1/2 inch that way. Theoretically, if you don't want to do the actual little part here where it cuts off, you could just do probably like 3 inches, and that'd be 2 inches or to 3 inches or so. But this point to this point is 1.5. This is 1 inch outwards, and yeah, this will be this corner to this corner again, 2.5 inches. So that's roughly the sizing of your Baneblade. Tracks, I would recommend doing a bit of dowel. Do a bunch of layers of dowel going down, or you could do, I saw a guy do cardstock with a toothpick in between. It seemed like very long process. If you don't mind putting the time, that's awesome. But I'm just going to go with whatever's faster. I'm probably just going to put more armor plating over it, honestly. And the sides, you can detail. I'm not sure how I would detail these normally, because my normal tanks, I would do the wood, right, like I did the stir sticks. I would do that as detailing, but then I would also probably add some like Lego kind of pieces like the vents and stuff. But here I'm lucky enough I do have leftover spare tank pieces, so I'm going to be chucking them all over there to give it some texture. And obviously, you'll need your side sponsons, which these guys, if you want the measurements, the sponson itself, you know what, the sponson, this will be 1 inch, and the head on there is about another ½ an inch, so about 1.5 inches tall if you're including the las cannon on top. Width is about 1 inch, but you can add about a 1/4 of an inch, or an 1/8 of an inch, to add in this little lip that attaches to the tank itself. The las cannon itself will be just over 1 inch long. You could probably do 1 inch, inch and a 1/4 or so. Meltas are about 1 inch out, because they're actually in there a little bit, so they're actually 1 inch long, but in reality it cuts it down outside of the sponson to about 3/4, about just under 2/4 of an, just under 3/4 of an inch. The cannons now are the important one. So this part here, this is like your default for the Shadowsword. That's a solid 2 inches straight right there. But then, where did I store that? The barrel adds quite a little bit. The barrel is just over about 4.5 inches there. You can see that. And if you're just going to do the whole thing, do straight 6 1/4 of an inch long. About that long. Now, this is for that auto gun thing. I'm not doing that option, so I don't know. These auto guns here, if you want to try and replicate them at all, overall total, they're like 1 inch and 3/4 or so. Barrel itself's about 1 inch long. This last bit will cover the rest. It's the part the guy holds on to. Yeah, I would recommend saving plastic bits, whatever you can, to try and like just add detail whenever you do cardboard. But yeah, you can roughly, this shows that if you get a Baneblade, you can roughly, largely with very minimal effort, get a second Baneblade out of your kit, just with a little bit of cardboard. Now obviously if you make a third Baneblade, that one's going to be a lot harder, because you're going to have to make it almost completely from scratch. You won't have any chassis to fall back on. Any spare little armor plates are pretty much going to go into this second Baneblade, so you're going to be stuck with, you're going to have essentially what I have, where you have full official Baneblade, a secondary 90% official Baneblade, and then a third one which will be like 90% cardboard and whatever random bits you can add on, which is how I kind of do most of my tanks. I'll do one more chunk of this that'll attach to this, because I don't want this to be crazy long like the hour and 15-minute one. But I'll show you what this looks like when it's done, and we'll go from there. Alrighty guys, this one's going to be a bit more freeform, this last little bit. I now have 2 full Baneblades. This is the cardboard one, this is the plastic one, that's fully official, that one's kind of not. I ended up settling with all of this. I gave it the last remaining tracks, a bunch of hard cardboard and cardstock. I'm just going to paint that, hopefully the details will work through. Or the lack of details will be fine. Maybe I'll add stuff later, but for now this is where I'm kind of sitting. Most of this should be fine as is. I went with the Shadowsword though. But yeah, that's kind of roughly how they're going to look. So, hope you enjoyed that. I definitely did. Have a good night. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, see you next time.